damning revelations in the Judge Cash Hall case. Probe confirms misconduct. Seeks the removal of judge. Supreme Court probe confirms burning cash at the judge's house. Probe says the judge and the king had access to the cash hall site. Burned cash recovered from the site. Probe talks about how judge's staff misled and said that there was no cash burning, but this was what was found by the authorities dousing the fire. Probe indicates can't disbelieve the firefighters and the police who had reported the cash being burned there. Supreme Court probe has rejected the conspiracy claim by Justice Verma. The probe panel questions judge's daughter as well, is what we are learning at this point in time. Shrishti Oja getting in more details at this point in time. Shrishti, this was outrightly denied by the judge in question, Justice Verma. Right now, the court has observed that there is no reason, absolutely none, to disbelieve the fire authorities. They were the first, in fact, to find that pile of burning cash, isn't it?
Well, yes, Sneha, these are big revelations which is coming from the inquiry committee report, which was probing the allegations against Justice Yashwant Verma. Now, they have clearly concluded that firstly, cash or money was found at Justice Verma's official residence. Secondly, access to the storeroom where the cash was found, that the access to that room was found to be within either covert or active control of Justice Verma and his family members. Because remember, this was one of the response which had come in from Justice Verma's side when he written to the Chief Justice, stating that access to that room was not under only his family control, but the room was basically accessible to everyone. Now, the committee has also said that the burnt cash, in fact, was removed during the wee hours of 15th March, and this conclusion that they've come to is based on inferential evidence. According to the committee, there's sufficient substance in the allegations that have been made, and the misconduct by Justice Verma has found to be proved and is also serious enough to initiate removal proceedings. Remember, this was the report which was sent by the inquiry committee, and it was submitted to a former CJI, the then CJI Sanjeev Khanna. Not just that, one important thing that we've also seen come in this report is the fact that, remember, Justice Verma had claimed that none of his staff members or even his family members were aware or informed about any cash being found at his storeroom. However, according to committee, the domestic staff, his private secretary, and also one of his house staff was not only aware of burnt cash being found, but was also present outside that particular storeroom, because they have examined the video that we saw being released, where we could see the burnt cash, the cash burning, 500 wads of notes basically burning in the video. The committee has analyzed that video, and they have said that there's a clear audio. At the end of the video, there's an audio reference to one person calling out the name of Rahil, who's basically the house staff employee of Justice Verma, and the video was shot at the entrance of the storeroom. So they have examined the statements made by both the private secretary and the house staff employee, and according to the committee, it is apparent that both the secretary and the house staff were present in front of that storeroom. Not just that, they were also eyewitnesses to the factum of burnt currency having been found in that storeroom. So their explanation that they were not aware, or the fact that they were asked to step away by the fire personnel, basically cannot be accepted. So all these conclusions that have come in were based on 55 witnesses that were examined by the in-house inquiry panel, including Justice Verma's daughter, clearly stating that cash was in fact found at Justice Verma's official residence. Back to you.
That's right. The probe confirming misconduct, seeking the removal of the judge. Questions that need to be answered. Who has, in fact, the judge has already spoken about the fact that there is a conspiracy angle here. What next then, Shrishti? Because the investigations clearly indicate that there was wrongdoing here, isn't it?
Need to remember, this was a preliminary inquiry which was conducted as part of the in-house inquiry procedure. As per the in-house inquiry procedure, the procedure clearly states that the inquiry is only a fact-finding inquiry. It's not a judicial inquiry. It's only a fact-finding inquiry with, as far as the allegations that have been made against the judge are concerned. Based on that, the committee had made a recommendation to the then CJI that removal proceedings need to be initiated. Thereafter, we saw former CJI Sanjeev Khanna communicate this to the Prime Minister and the President, along with details, along with the report, and also Justice Verma's response, who we understand, as per our sources, had refused to voluntarily resign or take voluntary retirement. All of this are part of the in-house inquiry procedure. Now, we recently also learned from our sources that the government is to consider moving the motion soon for impeachment of Justice Verma, considering a letter has already, communication has already been made from on side of the Chief Justice of India to the Prime Minister and the President. Whatever happens next has to now happen in the Parliament. We'll have to see when will the motion be moved. If the motion is moved, thereafter there's an entire process where another committee also has to be constituted, which again further probes into the allegations. But that inquiry is a little different, because that inquiry would be a more detailed inquiry. There would be cross-examination that would be involved. Justice Verma would also get an opportunity to cross-examine the witnesses in this case. So basically a more detailed inquiry, which would also give an opportunity to Justice Verma to cross-examine, put forth his point, would have to be conducted as per the in-house inquiry procedure by the Parliament before any voting on impeachment is done in both houses of the Parliament. So it is still a long process to go. The story with regard to the entire controversy basically has not come to an end yet. There's still a lot of steps which have to be followed before any decision is made on whether or not Justice Verma has to be impeached or not, or what needs to be done further. But if we go by the in-house inquiry procedure, Justice Verma would also has to be given an opportunity to prove his case, to put forth his case, to explain whatever he has to explain, and to put forth his arguments basically on what has happened and why has it happened, as far as the allegations against him are concerned.
All right.